Our diversity is our strength, and our unity is our power.
And I say to them, our diversity is our strength.
Our diversity, our patchwork heritage is not a weakness. It is still and always will be one of our greatest strengths.
Our diversity is one of our greatest strengths.
I think this is an opportunity to establish that out of our diversity comes enormous, enormous strength.
How does that work exactly? Shut up. Just read the cliche. It's on the card. Whatever. It's enormous strength. And by that measure, we are now officially much stronger. The Office of the Director of National Intelligence has just released this proof of it. It's called the Annual Demographic Report for Fiscal Year 2020, Hiring and Retention of Minorities, Women, and Persons with Disabilities in the United States Intelligence Community. That's the title. And you're going to want to get a copy in time for Christmas. Not to read it. It's not meant to be read. In fact, it's unreadable. But for the pictures are amazing. There's one on the screen. We now have conclusive photographic evidence that our spy agencies employ several people with different color skin. There's even a woman in a wheelchair. There's also a man who appears to be blind. Now, how do we know he's blind? We don't make assumptions like that. But in this case, he's got Ray Charles glasses on, a cane, and a seeing eye dog. That seems like a lot for one man. Remember, the best spies have a backup plan. Let's say Russian assassins come after our blind intelligence agent as he's picking up a dead drop of microfilm in a park in East Berlin. Somehow they manage to take out his seeing eye dog, maybe with a net. It's okay, he can manage because he still has both the cane and the Ray Charles glasses. And by the way, we assume the cane shoots curare darts. At the CIA, they think of everything. That's their job. But what is the blind guy's job exactly? What does he do in our fabled intel community? How is he keeping America safe? We don't doubt that he is, but how? Well, we don't know because the report doesn't tell us. Nor does it explain whether there seems to be some sort of dark halo around the lower part of the blind man's body in the picture. What is that exactly? Is it spy vapor? Another question. Where are all the old people? A lot of Americans are pretty old. The intel community says it's diverse. So where are the secret citizens, senior citizens? Where are the 80-year-old super spies? You would hate to think that for all of its famous sensitivity, the Biden people fell prey to ageism. We may need a class action suit to sort this out. And while we're at it, honestly, we didn't see any trans women, non-binary pansexual two-spirits, or a single person from Malawi. So that picture, which we greeted with joy because of its strength, is starting to look problematic. And in fact, it is problematic. According to freelance intelligence analysis on Twitter, experts on digital manipulation, that image, the one on your screen, is not real. Those people were never in the same room at the same time. Some of them don't even work for the federal government, maybe none of them. The whole thing is a disinformation campaign. It's a Soviet-style fake. We're serious. Apparently, the American intel community spent some of its diversity budget not to achieve diversity, but instead to buy a stock image from the website Shutterstock. The picture you just saw is entitled, quote, Portrait of Multicolored Cultural Office Staff Standing in Lobby. Now, you could buy that picture too. You could put it on your next Christmas card if you wanted to, and maybe you should. But apparently, the stock photo of multicultural office staff wasn't multicultural or diverse enough for the Biden people, so they inserted two other stock images into the picture. One of those stock images is also available on Shutterstock. You could buy that for your Christmas card too. It's called, quite literally, Blind Young Man with Guide Dog on White Background, which is what it is. The other is entitled, again, quite literally, Beautiful Businesswoman with Tablet Computer in Wheelchair on White Background. So those aren't really intel agents. They're stock photographs from the internet. Now, on one level, this is good news. You can make fun of it, but honestly, the intel community hasn't really outed the identity of its most attractive wheelchair-bound spy or its blind 007. So they're safe. They're not going to get nabbed in that park in East Berlin. Their identities have still been masked. But there are a lot of other episodes from this lesson, lessons that we honestly are ill-equipped to diagnose ourselves because we haven't thought deeply enough about it. And that's why we are proud tonight to introduce Adam Carolla. He is, of course, a comedian, which means he's one of the few people who can understand what exactly is happening in our intelligence community. He joins us now. Adam Carolla, good to see you. So
good to see you, Tucker.
You want to make it diverse. You go on Shutterstock and you buy a picture of a blind guy with a dog. Does that achieve the objective?
Well, it gets you close, but I think we've even gotten closer because I blew a call into my agent. He knows some of the people from that photo, and he informed me that the dog is gay. So,
well, now we're getting some
more woke.
And how does he? I'm not even going to ask how he knows that, but I want you to know that that's what strength looks like. Do you feel safer knowing that our intel community is represented by stock photos on Shutterstock of blind men, gay dogs, and attractive women in wheelchairs?
No, because when it comes to the intel community, I want the best and the brightest, not the least whitest.
That seems fair. So why, stepping back 3 steps, why would you care what your intelligence analysts, for example, look like? Is that related to job performance in any way, do you think?
No, it has nothing to do with job performance, obviously, but it does make me think, as I was watching your opening monologue, those people who know World War II history know that in 1944, the Japanese government sent over incendiary bombs that went up to the jet stream, and they were going to float over to the Pacific Northwest, and they were going to come down and they were going to start fires in the Pacific Northwest. And the idea was we would have to then fight our own fires on our own soil, and we couldn't fight them in the Pacific Theater. And this is analogous to that. This is us fighting ourselves, this woke culture, right, the diversity, the racism cries, the gender, the homophobia. This is us fighting ourselves. The Russians and the Chinese must be delighted that we have a self-induced civil war on our own nation 5 years after first 2-term black president, that we've decided to use the race hustlers and start essentially a war on our own soil. So they're, with their homogeneous population, China and Russia, are just free to use their technology to shut down our pipelines and hack into our infrastructure while we're using our technology to Photoshop.
You make a really serious and deeply sad point that I know historians will spend their careers writing about. Why did this happen? It didn't have to happen. That's kind of what you're saying. It seems like at the moment where we kind of proved that the country was not the country it was, say, 150 years ago, we decided to attack ourselves, or our leaders decided to attack our country. Why do you think that happened, honestly?
I think it's a combination of too much time, too many people, not real problems, people not working with their hands, people living in a digital world versus an analog world. And we've become like rich, troubled teenage girls who are just cutting on our inner thighs now because we don't have chores to do.
I think you're exactly right. I would say we're not hiring the best and the brightest. And it's nothing to do with diversity. It's just low standards. We got another picture, apparently, from the intel community. They just pulled stuff off the internet. Here it is. You can see these are people they're claiming are currently working. And they pulled a picture of you right off the internet. You're now, yeah. I don't know. Do you have legal recourse here? They're saying you worked for the CIA.
I'm going to lawyer up as soon as we knock off this cross chat, and I'm going to get back with my agent and find out just how he knew that dog was gay.
Thank you. Yeah, text me. Adam Carolla, great to see you tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, Tucker.